Welcomes you to the Alexandra Levine live podcast. Today, we've got a packed show, from breaking news to informative topics that will keep you well informed. So, please click the subscribe button to get notified of her upcoming episodes. If you like what Alexandra talks about, then please share the Alexandra Levine live to others. Alexandra also looks forward to your comments during this episode. Tonight's Alexandra Levine live podcast starts now.
Hello, everyone. Hello. This is Alexandra Levine live with the America's Pulse Network. We are all in tonight with me, Alexandra Levine. I just want to say a beautiful Hag Sameach to everyone who celebrated Passover all over the country and the world. The question tonight at the rabbis was, how is this Passover different than other Passovers? How did you feel about this Passover? And do you feel that the Messiah, the Moshiach, is on his way? And that's something that will be a theme throughout the night tonight, is about the splitting of the seas, about going from slavery to freedom, about the parallels between what is going on now in Iran and between Israel and Iran and countries all over the world. But I just want to say, I hope everybody had a happy Passover, and I hope everybody had a happy Easter. It was a very beautiful Passover Seder with my family this year, and I hope that everybody got to celebrate Passover and Easter with their families all over the country and the world. Well, we have, of course, breaking news with my good friend David Harris Jr. Let's put up what he had to write. So the first slide is President Trump is bringing real change to the U.S. Forest Service. He is moving headquarters from Washington, D.C. to Salt Lake City, Utah. So he's going from the DC to a very Republican hardcore state and the capital of Utah, which is Salt Lake City, much closer to the actual forests. About 260 headquarters staff are relocating, with only around 130 staying in DC. All 9 regional offices are closing. They're being replaced with a simpler state-based module that includes 15 state directors. The agency is also closing 57 out of 77 research facilities across 31 states. Research operations are being consolidated into a unified program based in Fort Collins, Colorado. These steps mean less bureaucracy, better efficiency, and smarter management for 154 natural forests and 193 million acres of public land. Firefighting and field operations remain fully protected. This is common sense government reform, putting leadership where the work really happens. As you know, the Department of Agriculture, President Trump really won on this, helping our environment, fixing our environment. And the ironic, funny thing is this is not something that Republicans usually touch. Usually Republicans do not touch environment. They don't touch agriculture because that's more of a, quote, Democrat talking point. But I'm actually glad that the Republicans reached across the aisle and focused on environmental issues. I can tell you my governor, Ron DeSantis in Florida, he focused on the red tide issue that was happening all over the beaches at Siesta Key and Longboat Key. And that's one of the reasons why he won the governorship and why he won re-election. Same thing with Rick Scott, too, as the U.S. Senator, talked about agricultural issues. If you don't focus on agricultural issues, I mean, you remain, I would say your state and your city remain disgusting with bad water, with toxins all over the place. Places like Back River, for example, where you can't drink the water, you can't even swim in the water, you can't fish in the water. So I'm very happy that the president is taking initiative here with the Department of Agriculture to help make agriculture great again, and also to help our environment. Again, we use a lot of different resources to have great agriculture. America has a direct agreement with Israel to help with agriculture and environment. If you've ever been over to the Middle East, and we'll talk about that later, you'll know that that Israel really thrives on their agriculture and environment. And they have such a beautiful agricultural center and environmental center, and they do work with America. So America can also have that same nurture, that same nature, that same beauty. President Trump is all about nature. President Trump is all about natural resources. This is very important. This is a big deal. And I hope you guys really hone in on this and really take this to heart. And also, eating stuff from trees that are grown on the top and things that are grown on the ground. If you can grow your own food, even better. I started growing my own stuff in Israel when I lived in Israel. They had basil trees and thyme trees all over the place. And I would just pick it up, rosemary, just pick it up right off the tree. And it's more natural and it's better for you, and actually you lose weight if you do that rather than getting processed food. So this is very important, guys. And I hope that you guys look into this and read about the Department of Agriculture and see what they're doing. Second breaking news. This is huge. Now, there's a huge tweet out that President Trump did. It's a little bit small. My producer's going to put it up there. It may be hard for others to read, but I'm going to paraphrase it a little bit. So, as you know, there has been some, I guess you could say, pundits, infiltrators into the Republican Party. We call them the alt-right or the alt-right movement of the Republican Party. And a lot of them have been saying stuff that's very anti-Semitic. A lot of people say, well, this is freedom of speech. But a lot of people are, saying it's hate speech, because a lot of the rhetoric that is coming out of the mouths of Tucker Carlson and Megyn Kelly and Candace Owens and Alex Jones is actually very dangerous. And it's causing a lot of issues. It's causing a lot of problems. But what I applaud the American people is the majority of the American people, they see past the BS. They know that it's BS. They know that what they're saying is ridiculous and just off the charts and off the wall. And my question is to my audience: are you happy that President Trump went after Tucker Carlson, Megyn Kelly, Candace Owens, and Alex Jones today? But he made the point. He said, I've been fighting these guys for years. They've been combating me. They've been spewing lies about me. They're saying I'm not America first, even though I am America first. They're the ones that are like hurting the MAGA movement, and they want Democrats to win, and they want us to lose the war in Iran. And he called them all losers. And I mean, Candace Owens, for example, goes after the First Lady of France, Brigitte Macron, says she's a man, has no proof that she's a man. She claims she's a man. She claims she's got proof she's a man. But are you a doctor? I mean, it's asinine. And she kept going week after week after week saying, this person's a man, this person's a man, this person's a man, to the point where the Macron, Emmanuel, is suing the crap out of her. To the point where they told Candace Owens, if you don't cease and desist about your allegations against Mrs. Macron, you're going to go to jail. You're going to face jail time. You can't call the First Lady of France a man without backing it up, without having full evidence. But the whole thing is so ridiculous. Is this because, I should say, is it because so many people are calling Michelle Obama a man that she's like, well, I can't keep calling Michelle Obama a man or a trans because that's not, everyone's saying it. So I'm just going to do my own thing and get more likes and clicks and just call Lady Macron a man, and maybe that'll get some attention. Well, it got attention, boy. It got a lot of attention, but stupid attention. And it got attention to the point where she's going to put her butt in jail because she doesn't know what the hell she's talking about. And President Trump actually said, I applaud Emmanuel Macron. Let him sue the hell out of her. And he actually said that Mrs. Macron is much prettier than Candace Owens. A much prettier woman than Candace Owens. So that's President Trump basically telling these idiots to shut the F up, that they don't represent MAGA, that they're trying to infiltrate President Trump's movement and make it and divide it. But let me tell you something, the MAGA movement, the real MAGA movement, is stronger than ever before. And we're heading into the right direction. We just need people to get out and vote in the midterms. We need Republicans to get out and vote in the midterms and get the right people in there. We need you to get out and vote. There's already early voting that started in certain states. Early voting already started in the state of Ohio. It's for an entire month. The primary is May 5th. If you live in Ohio, which a lot of my viewers now are from Ohio or live in Ohio, residents of Ohio, go out and vote now. Early voting started already. It's for an entire month. If you don't know who the candidates are, reach out to me. And I know other people that I can connect you to that really know the candidates well, but I've met some of them. It's really important, guys, especially Republicans, and we cannot be complicit in the midterms, that we really, really need to get out and vote. Now, not passing the Save America Act, that screws up a lot of people, especially in liberal states and liberal counties. That's why the Save America Act needs to be passed. But of course, Senator John Thune is sitting on it and sitting on it and sitting on it, and he doesn't want to make it happen. Doesn't want to give it to President Trump, doesn't want to put it into law because that idiot is bought and paid for. He's a Mitch McConnell light and a John Cornyn light. And those men want to see the Republican Party really fail. I don't know why there's Republicans out there that love to lose, that vote with the Democrats, that kowtow to Democrats. There was a Rhino Republican in Maryland just yesterday, voted to increase taxes on tolls. Or sorry, increase your tolls, excuse me. And he also has voted to continuously tax the people of his very America First MAGA district, which is where Tim Fazenbaker lives. Dundalk, Essex, Edgemere. This guy lives in a very MAGA America First district. Why is he voting with Democrats? Why is he voting to increase the tolls? Why is he voting for the biggest tax hikes in Maryland, like the Kerwin bill and the one after the Kerwin bill? Why is he voting for state-funded abortions? This is what Democrats do. Why is he voting to keep Obamacare? Why is he voting for amnesty for illegals? This is Delegate Rick Metzger, a rhino out of Maryland, and he's running for re-election. People in Maryland, don't vote for him. Vote for State Delegate Bob Long. Vote for Henry Ziskowski. He's also running for delegate in that district. Those two men actually will get stuff done. Bob Long has gotten so much stuff done. He's got a huge base. And he's very honest about his record. He's very honest about what he votes for. But I don't understand, guys. I don't understand why these rhino Republicans are still getting into office. Again, if you don't know the candidates, ask me. Ask the candidates themselves. As you know, we have Candidate Hour on this network. I talk to all the candidates that are running. I've endorsed many of them. I have their QR codes, and we show them at the very end of our show. Go to the candidates themselves. Go to an event. If you live near them, go to the events to talk to the candidates. It's very important, guys, that you know who you're voting for. But don't let Tucker Carlson and Marjorie Taylor Greene and Candace Owens and Alex Jones tell you who to vote for. Nick Fuentes. There's a guy who's a huge anti-Semite endorsed by Nick Fuentes. He's running against my friend Congressman Randy Fine in a primary. Don't let Randy Fine be primaried out by an anti-Semite. This guy Fishback, who's running for governor of Florida, Republican against Byron Donalds, big anti-Semite endorsed by Nick Fuentes. Being a Republican and getting endorsed by Nick Fuentes is not a good thing. It's actually a very bad thing. And I hope people wake up and realize there is a difference between freedom of speech and hate speech, and there is a difference in what you say publicly, because people are watching you. You have millions and millions of followers. People are watching you and they're honing in. And they're seeing what's going on. And I think the American people at CPAC, 85% of them voted in support of what's going on with the war in Iran, and 85% voted in support of Israel. I happened to be at CPAC. There was Iranians for Trump and Iranians for Israel. I'd never seen that, a flag wave signing where you have the older Iranian flag with the Israeli flag and the American flag flying together. And I stood with those Iranians. I took a picture with them. I was wearing a flag that had the American flag on top with the Israeli flag on the bottom, and they're holding hands. And the Iranians for Trump were like, oh my God, let me take a picture with you. Oh my God, we love Israel. We love Netanyahu. Reza Pahlavi, the crown prince, he spoke at CPAC. He was the highlight of the weekend. He talked so eloquently about his love and relationship for Israel. He said, I would love Iran and Israel to work together. I'd love Netanyahu to come to Iran, and let's work together. Whether he was BSing us or not, he was on a world stage telling the world about how he feels about Israel and America. And he wants to get in there and he wants to take over. The question is, what's he doing now? Is he working with the Iranian people to take over their country? Is he working for regime change, or is he going to wait till the dust settles and then he'll come in and be the white knight? And we'll get into that later in the program. Other breaking news, First Lady Melania Trump, she had a little bit of a press conference. She actually defended herself and said she never knew Jeffrey Epstein. She did not meet President Trump on his island. She's never even been to his island. And she said these are just disgusting smear tactics that the mainstream media is trying to pull to try to hurt her and defame her and hurt her credibility. And the fact that the First Lady of the United States of America had to do that is, I mean, I feel so bad for her that she had to come out and do that. But it had to be done because they were spewing out, mainstream media was spewing out horrific lies about her, saying that she was involved with Jeffrey Epstein. And she just came out with a beautiful documentary, Melania, which is all over Amazon, all over the nation, the world. If you haven't seen the documentary, I recommend it. Leave the First Lady of the United States alone. She's a beautiful woman. She was not involved with Jeffrey Epstein. She met President Trump at a party, not Epstein's party, and she never met him on an island. She's never been to the island. President Trump was heavily exonerated. He has never been on Epstein Island. When he found out that Jeffrey Epstein was bringing young girls over to Mar-a-Lago, he banned Jeffrey Epstein at Mar-a-Lago and all of his Trump golf clubs and hotels for life. For life. That's the truth, guys. Know the facts. That's why we are not mainstream media. We're conservative media, and we will always, always tell the truth and give you the facts as they come. Again, I feel so bad for the First Lady that she had to do that today. But let me tell you something. Her words resonate very loud. And that's it. She put an end to it today. No more. No more mainstream media. No more trying to say Melania Trump had a relationship with Jeffrey Epstein. She ended that BS rumor today. And today it shall end. Now we go into segment 1. So segment 1, that focuses on the war in Iran. We'll put up the first image of @real Donald Trump. That's what my producer put up. So this is what President Trump wrote today on Truth Social. He said, all U.S. troops, aircraft, and military personnel with additional ammunition, weaponry, and anything else that is appropriate and necessary for the lethal prosecution, destruction of an already substantial degraded enemy will remain in place in and around Iran until such time as the real agreement reached is fully complied with. If any reason is not, for any reason it is not, which is highly unlikely, then the quote shooter starts bigger and better and stronger than anyone has ever seen before. It was agreed a long time ago, and despite all of the fake rhetoric to the contrary, no nuclear weapons, and the Strait of Hormuz will be open and safe. In the meantime, our great military is loading up and resting, looking forward actually to its next conquest. America is back. Now, as you know, a couple days ago, President Trump, he threatened Iran. He said, if you don't strike a deal with me, if you don't open the Straits of Hormuz, guess what? At 8 p.m., we're going to bomb the crap out of you. We're going to do powerhouse plant, he said. Now, question to my audience, are you disappointed by that? I'm kind of disappointed. I wish that there was going to be a big powerhouse plant, bridge bombing, like, let's do this. I was very all for it. I really was. And I know a lot of my fellow Jews were in favor of it too, because we want it to end. We want the enemy to be completely gone. Now, President Trump has done something that no president's done in 47 years. But you go in, you kill your enemies, you get out. There has to be the end has to justify the means. There has to be a light at the end of the tunnel. Now, I believe that there's a bigger plan out there. There's a lot of things that we don't know behind the scenes. And Mark Levin even said it's a very complicated thing. But Mark Levin agrees with me and others that there should just be a huge blast. They should just annihilate these people. Just go in there and annihilate them. And the fact that President Trump has to be the one to do it is sad, but he's the only one that has the cojones to go in there and stop these nuclear weapons from coming to America. And Israel, Bibi Netanyahu, the Prime Minister of Israel, he warned about this for years, that Iran had nuclear capabilities. They were forming nuclear weapons. And of course, Obama was all for it. So was Joe Biden, quote unquote, is really Obama. I mean, that's what they want at the end of the day, to blow up Israel, kill the Jews, kill the Christian Zionists that live there, kill the 2 million Arab Israelis that live there, get rid of them all, just annihilate Israel, wipe Israel off the face of the planet. But they're our biggest ally. We work with them and they work with us. We can't do that. We must stand side by side. And the thing is, we have to keep the Strait of Hormuz open. I know there was reports that they closed it, and President Trump was very upset about that. My friend Jorge Finkelman, he says, I'm not disappointed. I hate how the IRG is abusing and killing the Iranians. That's something that people are talking about too. And that's the Islamic regime. Now, again, I was at CPAC with Reza Pahlavi. He was picked by the people to be the next guy in charge. And he said at CPAC that they're in transition right now, that he's been talking with Marco Rubio and JD Vance and President Trump to put him in. And that he's working to put him in digitally through IPP, that they're already transitioning him in. And he said, but it's up to the Iranian people to take back their country. But if they don't take it back, by the time it needs to be taken back, I will tell the Iranian people to take it back, and they will. They will do what I say. He basically said he had the power of the people. He also talked about his love for Israel, talked about his love for Netanyahu. And I know it's been him, Netanyahu, and Trump that have been on the calls mostly. But he wants peace for the Iranian people. So does President Trump, so does Netanyahu. But as you know, you cannot negotiate with terrorists. And the Islamic regime of Iran has been there for many, many years. And they worked to kill people, innocent people, on October 7th. And they worked with the enemies of Qatar to do it as well. And Hezbollah, they say, is actually worse than the Islamic regime. They're worse. And Israel's been taking them out, and Israel's been taking out their leaders. Hezbollah is a terrorist organization. Huge, huge terrorist organization in Lebanon. So my question to my audience is, how do you want the war to end? How do you want the war to be? Do you want us to keep going in there fighting? Do you like this 2-week ceasefire that President Trump just put together, even though, of course, the ceasefire's already been broken? Do you want Israel to go in there and finish the job? Do you want Americans to help? I want to hear the perspective from my audience, because everybody has a different take on it. But it's really important that we make the right decision here, and that we are not upset with President Trump for getting involved. Again, Islamic terrorists from Iran tried to kill President Trump twice, and Netanyahu as well. So it is personal. But these Islamic terrorists, this Islamic regime, has been in power for way too long. And I say to the Iranian people, take back your country. Be free people. Be free people again. You were free once. Be free again. Why do you want to live under a terrorist organization? You see what Hamas did to their people. You have the ability to do the right thing. It's time for you to do it. Don't wait for President Trump to do it. Don't wait for Reza Pahlavi to do it. You do it. You have more power than you think. Don't be so scared. The question is, do you want to do it, and do you have the will to do it? Or do you think it's just going to go back to the way it was? Okay, I will take down the regime, and then 5 years it'll be back to what it was. But you can't give up, and you can't lose hope, and you can't lose faith. Now, my friend Donald Willinger asked, did Trump get Cuba under control? According to Marco Rubio, he did. And Trump got Venezuela under control. But Cuba and Venezuela, as you know, is two different countries. This Islamic regime of Iran, it's heavy. And there's a lot of money and oil involved. A lot of money and oil involved. And then Trump talked about pulling out of NATO. He said, our NATO allies, I'm going to pull out of the ones that didn't help us. The ones that did help us, I'm giving you a thumbs up and then some. But the ones that didn't help us, I'm calling you out and we're pulling out. He'll give extra resources to the NATO allies that have helped him, and he'll get rid of the resources of the NATO allies that did nothing. Because there's a lot of socialist countries that are our NATO ally that really don't give a crap about what's going on, and they're actually making it worse for President Trump and worse for America. Let's put up the second slide from @Real Donald Trump. So the second slide was from yesterday. He said numerous agreements, lists, and letters are being sent out by people that have absolutely nothing to do with the USA/Iran negotiation. In many cases, they are total frauds or charlatans, and worse. They will be rapidly exposed after our federal investigation is completed. There's only one group of meaningful points that are acceptable to the United States, and we'll be discussing them behind closed doors during these negotiations. These are the points that are the basis on which we agree to a ceasefire. It is something that is reasonable and can easily be dispensed with. It's very much like fake news CNN last night headlining a source that had no power or authority to write a letter claiming great authority, President Donald J. Trump. And again, going back to the mainstream media, going back to how corrupt the mainstream media is, how they make up crap, how they're trying to be relevant. I mean, this is like ridiculous. Like, you don't think that the president's going to know? Like, stop making crap up CNN, stop making up crap MSNBC. And actually, there's too many leakers still, a lot of leakers that leaked information about how we got the second airman out. We talked about that in synagogue today. How that guy made a conscious choice to climb all the way up. How he was able to get a signal to the people to save his life. How he connected with Hashem, how he connected with God at that point. Probably looked up at God at that point and said, God, help me. Help me get out of here. What do I do? How do I find a connection? How do I find a connection so I can be free? Today in synagogue, we talked about connection to God and connection to the people. What is your connection with God? What is your connection to the people? What is your connection to the world? And to the pundits, the Tucker Carlsons of the world, what is your connection to Iran? Why do you support them so much? Tucker, why did you go after President Trump for attacking radical Islamic terrorism? Sound like a Democrat. What's in it for you if we support these radical Islamists? What's your connection? Is your connection to Allah? Is your connection to Muhammad? What's your connection? Because it's certainly not to Jesus Christ, I'll tell you that. Same thing with Nick Fuentes and Megyn Kelly and Candace Owens. Their connection's not to Jesus Christ. Everyone says their connection is to Satan. Maybe. Because they don't sound like righteous Christians, let me tell you. And God forbid you say Christian Zionists around them. Oh my God, the word Zionist, it's a curse word. That's such BS, by the way. That's the biggest BS I've ever heard in my life. But I don't get it. I don't get it. How you can say you're America first and you love Jesus Christ, but yet you attack America and you attack really good Christian people. Let's put up the third slide @Real Donald Trump. So he wrote a couple days ago, a country supplying military weapons to Iran will be immediately tariffed on any and all goods sold to the United States of America, 50% effective immediately. There'll be no exclusions or exceptions, President DJT. So if a country is supplying military weapons to Iran, they'll be immediately tariffed. And President Trump will do it too. He's done it before. So he's talking about China. He's talking about Russia. He's talking about any country that is supplying military weapons. Anybody. Spain. NATO allies. Anybody. This is very serious, guys. You're supporting Islamic terrorism? Be prepared to be tariffed. Let's go to the fourth slide. So Real Donald Trump wrote a couple days ago, the United States will work closely with Iran, which we have determined has gone through what will be a very productive regime change. So he admits there will be a regime change. There will be no enrichment of uranium. And the United States will, working with Iran, dig up and remove all of the deeply buried B-2 bombers' nuclear dust. It is now and has been very under exacting satellite surveillance Space Force. Nothing has been touched from the date of attack. We are and will be talking tariff and sanctions relief with Iran. Many of the 15 points have already been agreed to. Thank you for your attention to this matter. And this was after he did the 2-week ceasefire. So as he said, the United States is working closely with Iran. They want regime change. As I said, they've been talking to Reza, the crown prince, Netanyahu, and Trump. So those 3 people mostly. And he's been talking to the people now in power of Iran, the people that are heads of the regime and so forth, in the defense ministry over there. But they want change. We want proper people leading the Iranian people. The crown prince has been exiled for many years, but when I saw him at CPAC, he seemed like he had been waiting to lead the people for a long time. Like I said, he could have been BSing everybody. But I felt in his speech that he was sincere. Now, I heard the president of Poland. That was an okay speech. Loved America. Of course, completely attacked Russia, called Russia the enemy because they work hand in hand with Ukraine. Not a big fan of a country that works hand in hand with Ukraine, because Zelensky is very sleazy and seditious. And George Soros praises him. So that's why I have issues there. But again, what do you guys think? Do you want regime change? Do you think there's going to be regime change? Do you think President Trump will get this done? Or do you think this is just a transactional thing? He's just making deals. That he gets in there, holds him back a little bit, but doesn't finish the job. I want to know from you. I want to know your perspective. Yeah, Don Willinger, my friend, said, this is the first time in my lifetime that we are seeing Israel, U.S., and many Muslim countries all working together. That's true. And again, it's all about expanding the Abraham Accords. That's why Steve Witkoff and Jared Kushner is there, to keep expanding the Abraham Accords, which none of those treaties have been broken, by the way. Even when President Trump left office in 2020, none of those treaties have been broken. What is the situation between Canada and the U.S.? Not good. Not good. I mean, Trudeau, he's out. He left. But the guy that took over, he's no better. He's horrible. He acts like he's going to work with America, and then he goes back to Canada and he just bashes Trump. He's a sleazeball. I don't like the guy at all. Canada's become very anti-Semitic over the years. They have a lot of terrorist attacks over there. Canada believes in universal health care. Canada's a mess, and they're high taxed. That's because the Labour Party is in charge. They had an opportunity to put a very conservative person in there, and Trudeau said, well, I'm not going to leave until we put my successor in, the person that I choose. He did that on purpose because again, God forbid you don't break the law. God forbid you have an honest politician that works under you, or that works after you, I should say. Can't have it, unfortunately. And then finally, the last slide before we go on break, this talks about the agreement that President Trump made April 7th in Tehran. So it says, on behalf of the Islamic Republic of Iran, I express gratitude and appreciation for my dear brothers, Prime Minister of Pakistan, Sharif, and Field Marshal Munir, for their tireless efforts to end the war in the regime. In response to the brotherly request of Prime Minister Sharif in his tweet, and considering the request by the U.S. for negotiations based on his 15-point proposal, as well as the announcement by POTUS about acceptance of the general framework of Iran's 10-point proposal as a basis for negotiations, I hereby declare on behalf of Iran's Supreme National Security Council, if attacks against Iran are halted, our powerful armed forces will cease their defensive operations. For a period of 2 weeks, safe passage through the Strait of Hormuz will be possible via coordination with Iran's armed forces and with due consideration of technical limitations. Signed by Syed Abbas Araghchi, Minister of Foreign Affairs, Islamic Republic of Iran. So my question to you is, do you believe this man? Do you think they're going to keep the ceasefire? I can tell you that Vice President J.D. Vance was just in Budapest, Hungary, because Viktor Orban is up for re-election. His election is coming up April 12th. That's just a few days away. It's on Sunday. And then he's flying to Pakistan. So JD is working on this right now. He's working on negotiations in Pakistan, and we'll see what happens. We'll see. In addition to the fraud, because he's the fraud guy now. He's the head of the fraud division now. So JD Vance has a big job right now, and JD Vance actually on board with President Trump and what's going on with Iran. He's on board. So we'll see what happens in the next coming days. But again, I want to know from my audience, do you agree with this ceasefire? Do you think we should have a 2-week ceasefire? Do you think this was a good idea, bad idea? I want to know your opinion. I want to know your thoughts. My friend Jorge Finkelman wrote, regime change must come from the indigenous population, not imposed by any other country. Trump is probably trying to do in Iran what he's doing in Venezuela, but the IRGC is not the same. I agree with you there. I definitely agree with you there. And I've heard that actually during Passover as well. And that this was a big talk at the Passover table. They always say, don't talk politics during Passover. Everything's political. I mean, what happened to our people is political. What happens to our people every day is political. So if you were at a Passover Seder and you didn't talk politics, there's something wrong with you. No, I'm just kidding. But I mean, this was a big topic, and we're seeing deja vu. We're seeing a lot of deja vu here. The Jews again, going from slavery to freedom, fighting for their freedom, the splitting of the sea, the splitting of the Red Sea, and so forth, and actually waiting for the coming of Moshiach, but finding out that the Moshiach already came, and nobody noticed. And we talked about that in the Haftorah today. And they do say that if the Moshiach lands again, it will be an environmental force. It'll be floods, it'll be water, it'll be a tsunami. We don't know. My father used to say that to me. It'll be an environmental force. But can they get every single Jew in Israel for the waiting and the coming of Moshiach? Is it smart to have every Jew in one place? My father used to say it's not good to have every Jew in one place because that's when they can all the Jews can be killed. And there's not that many of us. It says in the Torah that the Jews shall live amongst the nations. We shall live amongst the nations, meaning we shall live all over the place, not congregate in one place. And also that we shall blend with society, that we shall not be someone that you can point out or pluck out, that we shall blend. It says that in the Torah. So this is going on Judeo-Christian principles. Christians read this in the Old Testament every year as well. And there's a lot of correlations between Passover and Easter as well that we'll get into later. But this is really important, guys, that we tune in to what's going on with Iran. I want to know what your thoughts are about this. This was a big topic at CPAC, but I'll be honest with you. The answer was, we love what Trump is doing. We love the Jewish people. Sorry if that disappointed some of the anti-Semites. Thank God there wasn't a lot of anti-Semites that spoke at CPAC. Megyn Kelly didn't speak. Tucker Carlson didn't speak. Nick Fuentes obviously didn't speak. Megyn Kelly didn't speak. The only boobs that spoke was Congressman Matt Gaetz, who I used to be really good friends with and liked, but he's turned into a total anti-Israel guy. And Steve Bannon. Steve Bannon calls Mark Levin Tel Aviv Mark. And he attacked my good friend Josh Hammer. Josh Hammer was great, combated anti-Semitism. And Steve Bannon's like, oh, Josh Hammer took a dig, and Josh Hammer's this and no. He didn't take a dig. He was calling out the hypocrisy of some of these, quote, conservatives. Israel's our biggest ally. We must stand and support them always. We shall always stand shoulder to shoulder with them because they will always stand shoulder to shoulder with us. So right before the break, don't forget we have my affiliate sponsor, rncstore.com/ALL. That is Richardson Nutritional Center. Get 10% discount if you use the QR code ALL. That stands for Alexandra Levine Live. So go to rncstore.com/ALL, type in ALL, get 10% off. Use that QR code right there. Great stuff, great nutritional stuff. This is great, especially after eating like a pig for Passover and Easter like I did. This will detox you from that matzah. This will detox you from all that kosher for Passover dessert, which is nasty. So we can get back into eating regular food again. But you got to go to rncstore.com/ALL, type in the code ALL. Get the discount code. The more you spend, the more you get off later. And we'll be right back, guys. After the break, stay with us. We are live. Alexandra Levine Live right here on the America's Pulse Network.
Hi, I'm Alexandra Levine. I'm a professional opera singer, actress, TV, and radio personality. Since 2015, I've been a volunteer, a field director, and a campaign manager, learning the ins and outs of the political world. That's why I became a political consultant. My job is to lead you to victory with organization, structure, and the mindset of winning for your district or state. With my guidance and direction, I can keep you focused on the things that matter to the people and advise you on key issues that need to be addressed. If you're a serious candidate that is serious about winning, then book a consultation with me today. Go to levineconsulting.co. You'll be happy you did.
So hello everyone, welcome back to Alexandra Levine Live. This is me, Alexandra Levine. Don't forget, we are currently live on YouTube, on X, on True Social, on TikTok, Instagram, Parler, Substack, Spotify. We're on like 15 different networks right now live. So you can actually watch me on YouTube and Rumble and True Social and TikTok all at the same time. Please hit that like and subscribe. I just want to say thank you so much tonight for everyone that has been liking and subscribing and commenting. We appreciate your comments. The more comments, the better. I know I have a lot of friends that are currently watching it that are not commenting, which is fine as well. But I do appreciate the people that have been commenting throughout the night. So segment 2 talks about the women fired out of the cabinet positions. So we had 2 women. We had former governor of South Dakota, Kristi Noem. She was the DHS secretary. And we had Pam Bondi, who is the U.S. Attorney General. Now, a lot of people were calling for Pam Bondi to resign or to be fired like long ago. I would say like several months ago. They didn't like how she dealt with the Epstein files. They didn't think that she, did anything. They were looking for arrests to happen. And she kept saying, oh, we got this on the table and that on the table. We're doing this and we're doing that. And we're going to release this and we're going to release that. And people just really felt that she didn't do the job. I know that there was issues between her and Dan Bongino. I know a lot of people didn't like didn't like how she handled the Epstein files at all because there was so much stuff redacted. But the straw, or I should say the icing on the cake, and this is what I read, is that President Trump wanted her to release the information of Eric Swalwell, the congressman, about his relationship with this Chinese spy Fang Fang, and she wouldn't do it, claiming that he's her friend and she doesn't want to release that information because he's a friend. Well, this is important stuff. I mean, the guy was sleeping with a Chinese spy. Well, we need to know what she knows. We need to know what was said. We need to know everything. And the fact that Mr. Swalwell isn't in jail just baffles me. It really does. And then I'm hearing reports that Mr. Swalwell is still having affairs, cheating on his wife with God knows what. I hate to say it, a lot of people in Congress do this. This is like the norm. If you're in Congress and you don't cheat on your wife, like there's something wrong with you. Now, mind you, there are some very decent men, some senators and congressmen that are very faithful, but the majority are not. And it's disgusting. And I find it very disgusting. And it's like you take an oath of office. It's the same as taking your vows. It's like, oh, well, I break the oath of office to the people that I represent. And it's also okay to break the vow, thou shalt not commit adultery when I get married. It's disgusting, and I can't stand it. If you can't control your personal life, then maybe you shouldn't be in Congress. Maybe you shouldn't be a senator or congressman because you're clearly not mature and ready. I mean, you represent constituents that believe in family values. So if you are cheating on your spouse, going behind your spouse's back, having what they call a goomba, a whore on the side, then I hate to say, you should get what's coming to you. So I can tell you for years, I knew and other people knew that Kristi Noem was having an affair with Corey Lewandowski, who was the former campaign manager of President Trump. I had the pleasure of meeting Corey Lewandowski at Trump Hotel in D.C. And I'm talking to him, and we're having a nice rapport. And then I see him go to a bunch of women that are not his wife and put his hand on their butts and put his hand in appropriate places. He was hanging out with some escorts. I mean, that was the norm for this guy. And this guy felt like he could get away with anything. If he touched a woman's behind, if he touched a woman inappropriately, he could get away with it because he was President Trump's, number 2 guy, according to him. And he used to tell people, if you if you accuse me of something, I'll make sure that you're blacklisted and President Trump will never know you. You'll never meet him and yada, yada. Well, I'm glad that never came to be, because there was a lot of women that did come out about the disgusting and perverted things that Corey Lewandowski would say to them or do to them. And President Trump had enough of it. He's like, dude, you're gone. And then he gets involved with Kristi Noem. He's, quote, her advisor when she ran for governor in her reelection. And then they were President Trump was thinking of having her as VP. So he was coaching her there. And then he's advising her with DHS. And President Trump is not going to have him in his wheelhouse. He's certainly not going to hire him to work in the White House. So where's Corey Lewandowski going to go? Well, Kristi Noem had to figure out a way to keep her boy toy around. So he basically just worked under her, literally and figuratively under her. And she claimed that he was a government employee, that he was paid by the White House. That's not true. She paid him. And she went on airplanes with him, and they had blankets together. And apparently it was a very nice airplane ride with the two of them on taxpayer dollars, by the way. And some of it was probably her money too. And, there was pictures of him coming out of her apartment. And I know that he stayed in an apartment right across from where she was in DC. And then there was reports that her husband knew about this affair. How could he not? I mean, she literally put it out in the forefront. And then when he came to the hearing, this was like 2 weeks before she was fired, this Democrat asked about her affair with Corey, and she did not handle that well at all. She didn't answer it properly. She defended Mr. Lewandowski. No. When you don't have an affair with someone, you don't defend them. And you say no automatically, and you talk about your loving husband. She didn't mention her husband. She didn't say no. And she defended her lover. But now we're finding out that her husband, who I'm shocked about, and I'm still trying to compartmentalize this story, was dressing up as a woman while she was the DH secretary and going on OnlyFans and messaging women under a false name on X. Then we find out through payment records that he paid $25,000 to PayPal and Cash App to talk to women, to see these women, to comment on these women with their big fake boobs, telling these women he wished he had boobs like theirs, telling women he would pay for their boobs to be even bigger, that he liked big boobs. If anybody knows Kristi Noem, she's flat chested. She's flat. She doesn't have double D, E, fake boobs. She just doesn't. You don't have to see her naked to know. I've seen her with clothes on. I've seen her in jackets. She's very skinny. She's flat chested. She's flat. A lot of men aren't into that. A lot of women like women, or a lot of men like women with a little, something on top. But to go while she's the DHS secretary, to dress up like a woman, to put on a t-shirt with fake boobs, is just, that's asinine to me. And I know this guy. I've interviewed him. He seemed pretty sane. He was very cordial with me, didn't hit on me. I didn't feel comfortable. He didn't wear a shirt showing me big boobs. I mean, he was just a very, very intelligent man. And the guy he's very wealthy. He's wealthier than her. He had a lot of money over his lifetime and owns a ranch. And he's a grandfather. I think he did this to hurt her. I think he did this because he was pissed off because he knew she was having an affair. I think he did this to embarrass her. I honestly don't think this is a, quote, fetish that he's had for a long time. I think he just figured out a way to, say, hey, my wife's not paying attention to me. I know she's having an affair. So I'm going to go off and do my own thing. She's doing her own thing. I'm doing my thing. Now, my question to my audience is, why didn't these people get divorced? Oh, because there'd be questions asked. Well, there was already questions asked by Kristi Noem and her loyalty to her husband. And people are like, oh, poor Kristi, poor Kristi. I don't have sympathy for this woman whatsoever. She's an adulteress. And everybody knows it. I don't have sympathy for her. Do I think she and her husband should have gotten divorced? Yes. Do I think that they should be getting divorced now? Definitely yes. And then I heard that Mr. Lewandowski is, comforting her in this time of need. She said she's not taking any questions. She didn't know anything about this. Then there was reports saying that she knew about it. So what is the true story? Well, let's put up the first slide because this is just hilarious. What a boob. This is from the New York Post. Bimification kink of Kristi Noem's hubby exposed. So that's his real face, by the way. It's not Photoshop. So he blew up balloons, made him look like big boobs, and wore this tight shirt and like tight pink pants. Now, if you're his wife, how would you think? How would you feel? Let's put up the next image. So this is actually brand new that just came out today. So Kristi Noem's cross-dressing husband told fetish model he wanted to marry her 5 days after wife ousted from DHS. Model Nicole Racano, who's on OnlyFans, claimed the married insurance man told her he was in love with her just days after his wife was fired by Trump. So he's having this, quote, illicit affair, this cyber affair with this woman. And then after she gets fired, he says, I love you and I want to marry you. And Nicole said on the record that she didn't know at first who he was. According to her, he had been contacting her since 2020. It was 6 years ago. And then in 2025, she finally realized who he was. And he paid for her, like he paid for purses and jewelry. He was even willing to pay for a bigger boob job for her. Are you kidding me? For 6 years, this was going on. 5 years, she didn't know it was him. Then 5 days later, he says, I want to marry you. Now, do you take that seriously? Do you take that proposal seriously? I don't. But this whole story just keeps getting weirder and weirder. Was this whole thing an April Fool's? Was this whole thing a distraction to the reality of what's going on in the world? But my question to my audience is, what do you think about women in high positions of power? This is the second woman who's a DHS secretary, and terrible job. Attorney General, Pam Bondi, I had high hopes for her. I really did. She was my Florida Attorney General. But should a woman really take on this role? Now, someone said to me, well, more women are getting, hired for high positions. More women are running for office. What do you think about that? Well, that's great, but I don't vote for people based on their gender. Someone said to me, oh, Hillary Clinton's running for president. You have to vote for Hillary Clinton because she's a woman and you're a woman. No, I don't. Just like I wasn't going to vote for Kamala Harris, which I didn't. Just like I didn't vote for Ashley Moody when she ran for Florida Attorney General. I voted for her opponent because I felt he was the better man. There's a lot of women that I haven't voted for. And I don't push for women to run for things. But when me personally, and this is just me, when I think of an attorney general, I think of a DHS secretary, I'm thinking of a man. I think of a man in those roles. That's just me. Same thing with Secretary of State. I think of a man in that role. They put Hillary Clinton in there. I mean, she's kind of a man, I guess. She's a lesbian, bisexual. But to me, I feel like a man can really take on that role and do a great job. And Mark Wayne Mullen is doing a phenomenal job at DHS. Same thing with CIA director. I feel like that is a man's role. That's just me. Secretary, Department of War. I feel like that's a man's role. But when you get into agriculture, EPA, women can handle that a little bit better because they're more of a they have attention to detail better. But that's my question to my audience. Do you think a male attorney general would be better in that role? Do you think Kristi Noem should have been the DHS secretary? Do you think we should have had a man in that role originally? I was actually shocked that they put Kristi Noem as a DHS secretary. That was like the last person I thought of, honestly. Pam Bondi, I was not surprised. Not surprised at all. Prime Minister and President, that's actually a very good question. That's a very good question because you're running an entire country. Golda Meir had her good moments, and then she didn't have her good moments. We've had some very great women prime ministers and presidents. Margaret Thatcher was amazing. Jorge said it's not about women, it's about being competent. We're surrounded by a lot of people that instead of a position like this, they should be in jail. I agree. I mean, when you give someone a position, you work for the pleasure of the president, and when there's mounds and mounds of evidence against somebody or something, that person should be held accountable. Now, White House press secretary, I find that that's a great role for a woman. Caroline Leavitt is doing a phenomenal job. I love Sean Spicer. He's my buddy. But when he was White House press secretary for Trump in the first term, he did an awful job. Sarah Huckabee Sanders comes in there and kicks ass. Kayleigh McEnany, phenomenal. Caroline Leavitt, amazing. I just feel like White House press secretary, I just feel that's a great role for a woman. Great role. I feel, in my opinion, that every congressman center should have a woman White House press secretary. Because you can see how the woman is tough, how she's unemotional. You have to have an unemotional woman in that position. And you have to know how to deal with the mainstream media. You can't be emotional. But yeah, my question to my audience, you feel we've had great women prime ministers and presidents? I mean, there's a reason why we don't have a woman president to this day of the United States of America. And it's true, we haven't found the right one. Will there ever be a woman president? And who do you see as woman president? Who do you? Do I believe there'll be a woman president in my lifetime? Possibly. We're heading in that direction. But don't pick someone just because she's a woman. She has to be competent. She has to know what the hell she's doing and talking about. As I said, I didn't always vote for women, for congressman or state senate or state rep or whatever. I voted for the person. Didn't give a crap about their gender. And I want to know if you guys feel the same. Well, right before the break, oh, excuse me. I'm sorry. We have other memes that I forgot to even focus on because I'm running a little bit behind with the show tonight. It's because I haven't been, this is my first time back in weeks, but we'll go through these memes really quickly. So this was so funny. Marco Rubio finding out he has to be Kristi Noem's husband. As you know, this meme has been circulating of Marco Rubio taking on all these different roles, but that's hilarious. Then of course we have the Brian Noem meme. There we go. That's a new meme that came out, him behind the computer wearing his famous shirt. My question to my audience is, are you guys going to be Brian Noem for Halloween? Is that like a new Halloween costume? I know some people are already starting to look for the costume now, less than a year later. It's about, 6 months down the road. So you got 6 months to find that costume, or you can create one, save the money, make it yourself. Before we go to the break, let's go to our other sponsor, FoliumPX.com. That is another all-natural sponsor that I work with. So toxic heavy metals, full body detox. If you've been eating matzah and you've been eating ham from Easter, you need a full body detox. Again, most people go on diets after Passover and Easter. It's very common because you're eating matzah, you're eating a lot of stuff that you're not used to eating. You're having a big meal on Easter and you want to just fully detox. After going to church or synagogue, it's good to detox. So go to FoliumPX.com. Click on that QR code. You will get a little bit of a discount. This is a great supplement. I take the majority of them. This will help you lose weight. This will help with your immunity. This will help with stress, anxiety, hemorrhoids, PTSD, anything that you have. It's literally like one pill in one. And you can mix this with the Richardson Nutritional Center too. But please, guys, go to FoliumPX.com. That's the QR code. We'll be right back. We are live. I'm Alexandra Levine with the America's Pulse Network. We'll be right back.
America's Pulse Network. The mainstream media is bought and paid for. The truth is twisted to fit their agenda. But America is waking up. Because podcasts are the future for trusted media. Welcome to the America's Pulse Network. It is a network built by patriots that upholds the Constitution. But America's Pulse Network stands for God, truth, and the America First movement. There is no corporate propaganda. No government spin, just real news, real talk, and real voices fighting for faith, freedom, and the future of this great nation with common sense. Here are some of America's Pulse Network podcasts. Alexandra Levine Live, hosted by Alexandra Levine. Jersey Shore Podcast, hosted by Damon Galdo. The Conservative Corner, hosted by Seth Eisenberg. The New Jersey State House Watch, hosted by Jack Brangan and Constance Detzel. APN's The Pulse is moderated by either Alexandra, Damon, Elena, or Seth. Also tune into America's Pulse Network on the following social media platforms: Join the revolution, because the pulse of America beats for God and country. America's Pulse Network is for faith, family, freedom, and truth.
Well, hello everyone, welcome back. This is Alexandra Levine live with the America's Pulse Network. Don't forget to hit the like and subscribe button. We are currently live right now on YouTube, on Facebook, on Instagram, on True Social, on Spotify, Substack, Parler, Rumble. We're on like 15 different connections, Instagram. You can also go on our website, americaspulsenetwork.com, and watch me live tonight. And I really appreciate the audience, and I really appreciate people watching tonight. As I said, we have finished the last night of Passover. There are certain people, they end Passover a little bit earlier than usual in Israel. I go by Israel, they've ended Passover already. And I just want to say to my friends and family that are in Israel right now, I know their Passover was very different this year than other years, but we pray for you. We pray that you're safe. We pray that you had a good Passover, however you did, if you were alone or if you were with family or if you were with your spouse or your children. We pray every single day, and we pray that the Messiah comes and keeps everyone safe. And that's really the theme of this Passover, was talking about, the Jewish Messiah, the Mashiach, and also the splitting of the seas. Again, going from slavery to freedom, the story of Moses, Moshe Rabbeinu, as we call him, how he took the staff and he put that staff down in the water and split the sea and saved the Jewish people. And it killed Pharaoh, and it killed a lot of the Egyptians that were about to kill the innocent Israelites. And it's a whole, I always say history repeats itself in some way. But one thing about Israel is we always go from darkness to light. We always see the light at the end of the tunnel. We always survive in the end. We always thrive in the end. And it's interesting what the rabbi said today. He said, why are we hated so much? Why is there so much anti-Semitism? Are we hated because people don't know us? Or are we hated because people know so much about us? Are we such hated people because of the good things that we do, because we love God, because we're always looking for that connection, because we're always looking for our true Messiah, or the Messiah, I should say? Are we, and maybe it's because we're survivors. I've talked to a lot of Holocaust survivors. There was Holocaust survivors that still prayed to God, even though these horrific things were happening to them. They were still looking for their Mashiach. They were still looking for a sign where the Mashiach would come and kill these Nazis and kill Hitler. But there's a reason why Hashem, or God, put the snake in the Garden of Eden to test us, to test Adam and Eve. He threw that evil in there. But it is up to us, we the people, the Iranian people, the Jewish people, the Christian people, to ward ourselves of that evil, to kill that evil, to not let the evil thrive and take us alive. To think of this Passover as literally passing over and turning over a new leaf and doing something to make a difference, instead of just sitting back and bitching and complaining. It's time to get up and do something and to fight for your people and to fight for your right to exist. That's what the Jewish people did for thousands and thousands of years. That's why we're here today. And yes, there's not that many of us, and there's a reason, but it's your choice now to grow and multiply. But it's also your choice now to stand up for what you believe in and to thrive. And to not allow anti-Semitism to continue to creep in your home. And to practice, become more observant if you can. Hold the traditions that your parents or your grandparents did before you. And if they didn't keep the traditions, then you become the leader. And you go to synagogue or you go to church and you continue those traditions. And pass it on to your children, to your children's children. But Passover is such a significant holiday in Judaism. And there's a lot of parallels again between Judaism and Christianity here. And it's all in the Old Testament, so Christian people read it as well. But the theme of this Passover is connection, having that connection with God, that connection with yourself, that connection with your family. How are we as people going to connect? How are we going to connect on a spiritual level? But how are we going to connect on a mental level, emotional level? Because this Passover has been emotional for a lot of people. But we cannot think with emotion, we must think with logic. Because if we think with emotion, we make false steps. Same thing in politics. You can't be emotional in politics. You have to think logically. If you think emotionally, you're going to fail. My friend Tim Fazenmaker talks about that all the time. And I've said that for many years. And it's about common sense. It's about having your wits about you. But it's about not sitting at home crying and bitching and complaining. If you want to make a difference, you can be that leader and make a difference in your community. But I wanted to show you a couple images of Passover. This was a little card that was going around throughout Facebook. This is the first image. So happy Passover, wishing you a Passover overflowing with happiness, health, and prosperity. So I shared that with a lot of people over Facebook. So again, happy Passover if you're still celebrating. Everybody should be pretty much done. It is sundown. Well, except if you're on the East Coast of the country, or the West Coast of the country, excuse me. But if you're in other countries nationwide, Passover is over for you. Let's go to the next image. So this was at my Passover Seder. So that is what we call Shamor matzah. Shamor matzah, I've never had so much Shamor matzah. It's actually a Sephardic tradition. It's a round matzah as opposed to the traditional Ashkenazi square matzah. And there was some that was made from Montreal, made in the Ukraine. This one was actually made in Ukraine. And it was given to me by my rabbi, and it was an amazing matzah. I mean, I've never had so much Shamor matzah in my life. But it's a thinner grain. It's like whole wheat, or not whole wheat, I shouldn't say that. It's just a very lighter, it's not even a grain, excuse me. It's just a lighter matzah than the rectangular one. But it does get burnt around the ends. But it's very traditional around Chabad and Hasidic families to have Shamor matzah. Darum wine, this is a Cabernet. This is a kosher for Passover wine. So during Passover, we drink 4 cups of wine. It's traditional, but we have to have kosher for Passover wine. That's important. That's like, you have to have kosher Passover wine. And you can get it from Israel. There's different wineries that will do strictly kosher for Passover. This one was very good. I always drink Arden or Gamla or something from the Galilee. But the wine this year was just phenomenal. And let's go to the second image. So that's just kind of an example of something that I ate. So that's a salad, which is kosher Passover. That is actually steamed sweet potatoes with different meats. Pepper steak is all kosher for Passover. And peppers. This was actually catered from a place called Kosher Central, which is based out of the Boynton Beach area in Florida. And they have a lot of catering in Florida. Besides Kosher Central, they have Kosher Caddy. There's a lot of different places in Florida where you can get kosher for Passover food if you if there's days where you don't want to make food and you just want stuff catered in. So that was really good. That was kind of the highlight of my Passover, was having those big sweet potatoes with the 2 different types of steaks. But there's something, that I really want to bring to your awareness. And I know I have people on this program that are watching this. So I got involved with hashtag End Jew Hatred, which is a nationwide organization. It is nonpartisan. They're not a political group, but they do believe and they work in combating anti-Semitism. And I applaud each and every person that is involved with this organization. Again, it's a nationwide organization. I did get involved with the Cleveland division. And we are having a huge event Wednesday, April 29th. We'll put up those 2 flyers. My friend Mark Leiner is actually heading this up with a whole group of people on Facebook. Just go to hashtag End Jew Hatred Day. So this is a national day for the entire organization. So each organization has a chapter, and they're all having this event Wednesday, April 29th from 5 to 7:30 p.m. This location is in Solon. At the Veterans Memorial Park. Solon is a very nice area in Cuyahoga County, very close to Beechwood if you live in Beechwood as well. Very nice area, beautiful park. These are the sponsors. You have Newish, which is matzo ball soup you can get at the kosher grocery store, The Grove. You have the Grand Coffee and the Lawfare Project. So the Lawfare Project is awesome. It's run by my good friend Brooke Goldstein and my other good friend Jane. Jane works with Brooke Goldstein. I've known Brooke Goldstein for years. I'm so glad that they are involved. They're actually doing their own hashtag End Jew Hatred Day, also April 29th in New York. And I can get you details about that. But I will be singing at this event. I'll be singing the national anthem as well as the Israeli national anthem. So please, guys, come to this if you are in the Ohio area. But look up hashtag End Jew Hatred. I advise you to become a member. I advise you to get involved in their Facebook groups and find out if there is I know there'll be a chapter near you, but find out where and when your chapter is having an event, because this event is going to be huge. This is their 2nd annual. They had hundreds and hundreds of people last year. This year, it's going to be bigger. I mean, we're up to over 200 people right now, probably more. Mark knows the numbers better than me, but people are coming in from all over the country, actually, not just the Cleveland area. But from all over the country to come to this event and many others. So again, this is a nationwide organization. Hashtag End Jew Hatred. We're having hashtag End Jew Hatred Day. Wear your flags. Come, guys. It's all kosher. Enjoy the kosher food. And also the city of Cleveland, they actually just, they wrote a proclamation, a resolution stating that this is End Jew Hatred Day, and that we are allowed to have this event. And the city of Cleveland actually honored hashtag End Jew Hatred Day. I just found that out today. So that's really good. And, I'm very happy about that. But it says, in communication of our hashtag Jew Hatred Day, April 29th campaign, join the movement in Cleveland for a celebration of Jewish unity, pride, and empowerment. So pride meaning pride for being Jewish. Empowerment is empowerment for being Jewish, but it's also for non-Jews too. If you're a non-Jewish person, you are more than welcome to come. We don't limit just to Jewish people, but we really need people to understand that the Jewish people are not the enemy. Jewish Zionists are not the enemy. Christian Zionists are not the enemy. To be a Zionist is not an enemy. We are not the enemy of the people. Calling someone a Zionist should not be a curse word. It's a good thing to be a Zionist. These stupid idiots that say, you're a Zionist. They don't even know what that means. They're so stupid. So to be a Zionist is something to be proud of, not something that is bad. So if anyone on Facebook calls you out for being a Zionist, just say, thank you so much. I appreciate the compliment. Thanks. I like being a Zionist. Thank you. I love it. Thank you so much. So this is a very important event. And we will keep resurfacing this event throughout the rest of the 3 weeks, because this is coming up in a few weeks. And we appreciate everybody to come. If you cannot come, I know there's a way to donate also on the hashtag End Jew Hatred website as well. And I can connect you with the founder and any founder nationwide and in your state and location. So as you know, we are in candidate hour. It is candidate season. They've already started early voting in some states such as Ohio. Ohio already started their early voting. So if you live in Ohio, get your butt out there and early vote. We need people to vote. We need you to get out the vote. I wouldn't worry about fundraising right now. If you're a candidate, you've got to get the votes. You have to be at the polls every single day, right now in Ohio, they're at the Board of Elections. You got to be at the Board of Elections every day and get people to vote for you, especially if you're the underdog. Don't worry about fundraising right now. The fundraising will come. The money will come if you win. But if you don't get the votes, guess what? You don't win. So it's time to get out the vote. So candidate hour, we have my good friend, Tim Fazenbaker, who is running for Baltimore County Council District 9. His early voting starts in the first week of June with the mail-in ballots. Hopefully we can pass the Save America Act, so we don't have mail-in ballots anymore in Maryland. Maybe we can actually facilitate photo ID in order to vote, because in Maryland, unfortunately, you don't need photo ID to vote. But the beauty of Mr. Fazenbaker is that he's in a very America First MAGA district. It is his to win. He is being honored left and right. He is getting donations galore. The people love him. And he's been calling out all the rhinos in his district. And the people have hashtag it enough. So go to timfazenbaker.com. Give him a donation today. Put this man in office. He is the MAGA conservative guy that you need for the council, for this new council, and he will make a difference. Next person is my good friend, Kimberly Stansberry. She's running for Baltimore County Executive. She is literally she's really the only Republican running. I mean, there's another guy running against her, but we don't say his name because he's kind of irrelevant. He barely goes to any of the forums or debates. He's just kind of there. He's more of an installment than anything else. We don't want installments in there. We want Kim to win. We want her to win the primary. The general is where we need the most help. The general is tough because we don't know who she's going up against, but either one of those Democrats are corrupt. So she's definitely going to win the primary, but we need your help, and we need you to go to electtimstansberry.org, give her a donation, help this woman out. If elected, she'll be the first elected woman to Baltimore County Executive. Hey, a woman Baltimore County Executive, I'm all for it. I think women do better jobs in these types of roles anyways, in state role and county commissioners and so forth. But she will be awesome. She knows the role better than a man does, to be honest with you. And she will be a force. And if she's in there with Tim, they will work together and really help Baltimore County and make it bigger and better than ever before. And next person is Daniel Eisenhart, my good friend. He's running for state senate. He's primarying out the Rhino, and he's running in state senate district 6. So that's also with Kim and Tim. So he's got a tough primary, but things are coming out against his opponent, the incumbent opponent, that aren't good. The incumbent apparently never lived in his district, still doesn't live in his district. It is against state law. You must live in your district. Even if you just move, you must live there 6 months in order to run. So I know for a fact the incumbent doesn't live in his district, never has. So, hey, we want someone who lives in their district. So go to Daniel Eisenhart, candidate for State Senate District 6. That's the QR code. Donate to him today. Then, of course, you have my friend Sam Rosenblum, who's running for Board of Education in Frederick County. Candidate for Frederick County School, my friend Sam Rosenblum. Please give to him. He has been kicking butt. He's been on some big networks already. WFMD interviewed him, and so far, Larry O'Connor interviewed him. I mean, this guy is making the rounds. He is very smart. He knows what to do. He's working with my good friend Colt Black, who's also part of the Frederick County School Board, and we got to get proper people in office. Sam really cares about the kids, and he really wants to do a great job. So please, that's his QR code. Donate to him today. And as I said, in Ohio, they just started early voting. This is a very strong contested primary for Ohio Secretary of State. My good friend Marcel Serbeck, who we endorsed. I can tell you he is a force to be reckoned with. He's an awesome guy, but we need the votes, and I want him in there because he is very smart. He served our nation. He's got a wonderful family. He will be such a powerful person to help with election integrity. That's what his main platform is just helping and fixing the election integrity in Ohio and so forth. And he knows what to do. He's a great guy. There's Marcel's QR code, but early voting in Ohio, guys, you've got to get on and vote for this man. This man's running for Ohio Secretary of State, and he's running up against the Ohio Treasurer. Got to get him in. got to get him to beat the Ohio treasurer. This guy is awesome. Really great guy. I've had him on my show. Awesome dude. Next person is Julie Spivey Perry, candidate for U.S. Congress, Virginia District 10. As you know, Virginia is a mess with a bunch of Democrats leading the state, but that has nothing to do with federal. So if we can get some Republicans to lead federally, hey, federal overrides state all the time. Julie told us on this program that her district is picked to flip, and we are going to have her back on the program before her primary, but we need to get her in, guys. We need to get her in. So please go to Julie Spivey Perry, use the QR code, donate to her today. And then we have our friend Justin Murphy, who's running for U.S. Senate of New Jersey. Awesome guy. I'm going to have him on the show again before the primary. Got all the signatures he needed. He's been on the pulse with us. He's been traveling all over New Jersey. He's making the rounds. He's making a name for himself. Smart guy, intelligent guy, doesn't look his age at all. And he will do the job. I know for a fact he will do the job, and I completely endorse and support him. And of course, our good friend, Damon Galdo from the Jersey Shore, running for Congress in District 1. As you know, the Board of Elections tried to screw him. But guess what? He's on the ballot in the general. He already won the primary because he ran unopposed. He will be on the ballot in the general, and we need to donate to him. VoteDamonGaldo.com. Give him some money. Help him out. He's gonna. The general will be tough, so we really have to help him. District 1 wasn't always Democrat, but we got to get him over the hump. He's a great guy, and we appreciate everything that he does. So VoteDamonGaldo.com. And then, of course, we have our friend Seth Eisenberg of the Conservative Corner. We have his GoFundMe. We raised $6,500 for him in a very short period of time, but now it's kind of plateaued. The guy is going for surgery, a very abrasive surgery, very soon. He's not doing well, guys, and he is a veteran. He served our Navy. We need to get back to our veterans. This is what Pete Hegseth talks about all the time. Instead of donating to criminals and convicted felons and drug dealers and whatnot, go to help by donating to Jonah Eisenberg to overcome a financial health crisis. Go to GoFundMe.com/health/Jonah/Eisenberg/overcome/crisis, or just put Jonah Eisenberg overcome health crisis, and it'll come up. Donate $100, $150, $200. It all helps. It all makes a difference. And it's really important, guys, that we help our friend Seth. And of course, as you know, we have our show, The Pulse, every Wednesday night from 8 to 9 p.m. or 8 to 9:30 sometimes. You never know who the host is going to be. You never know who our special guests are going to be. You never know what I'm going to wear. So please, guys, show up for The Pulse. Great show. Love our panels. Love our discussions. The Pulse is thriving. We've been doing The Pulse for almost a year now, and we are kicking butt. Also, don't forget, we have the Jersey Shore every Monday and Friday night from 8 to 9 p.m. Sometimes he goes to 8:30 or 9:30, excuse me. But it's mostly 8 to 9 p.m. And of course, we have my show, Alexandra Levine Live, from 8 to 9 or sometimes 8 to 9:30 p.m. every Tuesday and Thursday night, except for I think it's the first Tuesday and the first and the third Tuesdays of the month. We have our new show with Constance Sitzel and Jack Brangan called the New Jersey State Watch. Please follow that show. It's a great show. Jack Brangan and Constance Sitzel are extremely brilliant people. And just awesome show. Love the show. Great show. And I think my producer's reminding me, yes, it's the second and the fourth Tuesday. Thank you. So the second and the fourth Tuesday of the month is New York State Watch with Jack Brangan and Constance Ditzel. So I get a little bit of a break on a Tuesday, but you get to see me on Wednesdays and sometimes on Thursdays. But it has been a pleasure, guys. Don't forget to follow our network again. Thank you again to everyone who watched my show tonight. I really appreciate it. We had some really great feedback, some really great viewership. I really appreciate it. Again, we are live always on YouTube, Facebook, Truth Social, Instagram, Spotify, Substack, Parler, Rumble, X. I'm sure I missed one or two or three or five. We're on like 15 different networks. It's awesome. We are growing. Just to let you know, coming up, I will have some more people from the beautiful country of Hungary that I will be interviewing. They love that I've taken the time to get to know them and know their country. As you know, Hungary is having their elections April 12th. If you're watching my show from Hungary and you saw the repeat of the Deputy State Secretary, my friend Martonia Grozdi, it's a very important election, guys. We have to reelect Viktor Orban. He's doing a great job. President Trump has endorsed him multiple times. Vice President J.D. Vance was just over in Budapest yesterday for a reason. And let me tell you something, the Trump endorsement is very powerful over in Europe. That's what Martin told me. He said, President Trump endorsing Viktor Orban is a good thing. And we want to keep that alliance strong. And you're going to see they have free and fair elections over there. Elections on the day on Sunday. I mean, people take off, they vote. They make sure that everybody goes and votes. So please, if you are a Hungarian, please go and vote for Viktor Orban this Sunday. We want to reelect him. We want to put him back in power. We want to keep the alliance between Orban and Trump and Netanyahu and so forth. And we just want to make Hungary great again. So again, guys, keep up with my show. We'll be having more Hungarians coming on my show in the next couple weeks. Again, you can always follow me on Facebook, Alexandra Levine, at Alexandra Levine 20 on X, at A.L.L. Levine 85 on Instagram, True Social, Parler, TikTok, Spotify, Substack. I'm there. You'll find me. Thanks, guys. Again, Chag Sameach and Shabbat Shalom, because we go from Chag Sameach, we go from Happy Passover to Shabbat Shalom tomorrow night. Please, guys, pray for the people in Israel. Pray for the Iranian people. Pray for everyone across this country. We'll pray for the Americans. Pray for everybody around this country and the world, that we all want to be safe. And the power of prayer is so important, guys. Thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. And the reason you listen and the reason you watch is you are no idiot.
Welcome to America's Pulse Network. This is APN's very own White House correspondent, Alexandra Levine.
This is so amazing and miraculous. We've never had a president in the history of our nation doing this. And we hope to God that he continues doing this forever and ever. Thank you. God bless you, everybody. And God bless President Trump.
And God bless you.
Hello, everyone. This is Alexandra Levine with the America's Pulse Network. I am the White House correspondent right here in the heart of D.C. as President Trump is celebrating 250 years of America and the military.
Subscribe and follow America's Pulse Network on the above social medias.
Alexandra, thanks you for watching tonight's Alexandra Levine live podcast. See you at the next packed show, from breaking news to informative topics that will keep you informed. So please click the subscribe button to get notified for upcoming episodes. If you like what the Alexandra talks about, then